morning, everyone. Good morning. We have an election coming up on November 4th. Just kind of start off with a poll of the audience. How many of you plan on voting in the November 4th election? Just about everyone except for John. Yeah, John. Well, I don't know if that's actually true. And this group may be an anomaly because the past June election, only 25% of Californians showed up for it. So either you're all very good and are going to vote, or you're all just a bunch of liars. I don't know which one it is. For this upcoming election, there are a number of things on the ballot. There's a governor's race. There's a congressional race between Scott Peters and Carl DeMaio. And then there's also, there's also a number of props. There's actually 5 props on this year's election. One of the props which has outspent all the other props is Prop 46. There's been $70 million spent on Prop 46 so far. $58 million opposing Prop 46 and $12 million in favor of Prop 46. My speech today, I'm going to tell you about Prop 46. I'm going to tell you about the pros and cons of Prop 46, the arguments in favor and the arguments against Prop 46, and then I'm going to conclude with my opinion on Prop 46. There's been a lot of commercials. The advocates and in favor of Prop 46 say Prop 46 saves lives. Those against Prop 46 say that Prop 46 is a scam by trial attorneys and will increase our healthcare costs. Well, what is Prop 46? There are 3 components to Prop 46. The first is drug and alcohol testing of doctors. The second is a database, establish a database where doctors can go to for prescription pain medications and access that database and find out how many physicians prescribe certain medications to patients. The third, and probably the biggest component of Prop 46, is raising the cap on pain and suffering damages from what it is right now at $250,000 to $1.1 million. Let's talk about each of those 3 proponents of Prop 46. The first one, the drug and alcohol testing of doctors. Those in favor of drug and alcohol testing of doctors say that the reason we should test doctors for drug and alcohol is because 20% of physicians, according to the California Medical Board, will have a substance abuse problem in their lifetime. Just for comparison's sake, as you know, I'm an attorney. I just happen to research what attorneys are. Attorneys are also 20%. This legislation isn't about whether or not attorneys should be drug tested. Thank goodness. Of that 20, so the 20%, so that does represent a significant portion of doctors and physicians in our community. The other argument in favor of drug and alcohol testing of doctors is that they provide a service to the public, similar to firefighters, police officers, pilots, bus drivers, who we all right now test for drug and alcohol. Against drug and alcohol testing, the argument is that it's going to be an unnecessary expense. The argument is that if physicians do abuse substance, they do it on their own time and it doesn't affect their care and treatment of patients. The physicians that do, it's a few and far between, and there's really no stories that I could find that point to where a physician was actually on some sort of substance, abused it, and then ended up harming a patient. So those are the arguments in favor and against that aspect of Prop 46. The other aspect of Prop 46, the second prong, would be the database for prescription drugs. Right now, as it stands in California, all that we require is that pharmacists access this database. Prop 46 will make it mandatory for all physicians to access the database. According to the LA Times, death by prescription drugs now exceeds death by illegal drugs. Prop 46 seeks to abolish patients and prevent patients from doctor shopping. Patients will go to different physicians to get certain prescription pain medications. With Prop 46, the doctors will have a database, and then they will look at that database and determine what medications were prescribed to what patients. In opposition to Prop 46, they again say it's going to be an unnecessary and expensive cost to the consumers. This is kind of a theme of those that are against Prop 46. They also point out that it's going to be run by our government. And as I'm sure Mark has some opinions on this, our government does not run that very well, and there will be problems. It'll be subject to hacking. It'll be subject to patients having their rights violated. Finally, the big component of Prop 46 is changing the cap on damages from $250 to $1.1 million. Just by way of background, if you sue someone for negligence right now, the damages are divided up into two buckets. Non-economic damages, which are pain and suffering damages, and on the other hand, economic damages, which are for lost wages or medical bills. Right now, if you sue a doctor, the maximum you can recover in non-economic damages in the state of California is $250. Prop 46 seeks to raise that to what is inflation-adjusted dollars of $1.1 million and have that be the cap. Arguments in favor of raising that cap to $1.1 million. One of the arguments is that medical negligence deaths in our community, it's the third leading cause of death behind heart disease and cancer. The other argument is that it's raising the cap to $1.1 million, which is just an adjustment to inflation. If anyone had breakfast this morning, Kellogg's Corn Flakes in 1975 dollars costed 55 cents. In today's dollars, that's $4.19. So the 250 is just raising it to inflation adjusted dollars. Another argument in favor of raising that from 250 to 1.1 million is that it will help and benefit those that are elderly, those that are unemployed, those that are disabled. Because right now, if they get injured by a doctor, they don't have the economic damages. They don't have lost wages. So their compensation, for instance, a wrongful death of a child as a result of a doctor, the family is only left with $250,000 for the remainder of their life. Or someone that, say, is 20 years old and is injured by a doctor, only $250,000 in pain and suffering for the rest of their lives. The arguments against that aspect of Prop 46 are from the American Board of Nursing. They said it's going to cost the average family $1,000 a year in increase in their expenses. The arguments also against it say that it's a greedy proposition by trial lawyers to increase their damages. Finally, just to conclude, my opinion on this, as you know, I do medical malpractice work. I actually have no opinion on this. My opinion, and that's the result of Toastmasters, and I don't want to share with you my opinion on this. I hope that this was informative, and I hope, if nothing else, you guys now know about Prop 46 and exercise your right to vote on November 4th.